Good evening. We will now call this regular meeting, July 8th, St. Lucie County School Board, to order. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and Kids at Hope Treasure Hunters Pledge directly after. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Treasure Hunters Pledge. As an adult treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talent, skills, and intelligence that exists in all children and youth. I believe all children are capable of success, no exceptions. You may be seated. Thank you. We come to our special order of business, and we will turn that over to Dr. Prince, please.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to invite a very special guest, the President of the EDC, the Economic Development Council, Mr. Pete Tesch. Pete?
Good evening, Dr. Prince, Madam Chair.
Good evening.
School Board. I'm Pete Tesch, President of EDC. First of all, congratulations on your A rating. That is just tremendous news. St. Lucie County is a great place to live, work, and play, and having this designation from an economic development perspective does wonders for our efforts. So again, thank you, and we appreciate the partnership. We know that brevity is the key to success here. Just a very quick update about EDC activities and also our new 501c3 foundation, the Treasure Coast Center for Economic and Educational Development. This is the private sector workforce-centric approach to helping our children and our future workforce. And this is very, very much connected to classroom to careers. So the work that we're doing together is really phenomenal, and the benefit will be a very strong economy and young people, students, and residents that have viable career opportunities because of what the school system is doing. With me are several members of the EDC Executive Committee. At this time, I would like to invite Eslina Goldstein. She is the chairwoman of the EDC. She's going to give a really brief update on TC Seed, and then followed by that is our Director of Workforce Readiness, Anita Fisher, and talk a little bit about what we've been doing with St. Lucie Public Schools and career and technical education and the internship program this summer. It's truly phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Good evening, Chair Dr. Mills and fellow board members. So it is a privilege to be here tonight on behalf of the Economic Development Council and our newly launched 501c3, as Pete mentioned, the Treasure Coast Center for Economic and Educational Development, TC Seed. We created the TC Seed with a bold vision to build a future where every student in St. Lucie County has access to meaningful careers, where businesses thrive because they're powered by homegrown talent. That vision is only possible because of the extraordinary partnership we share with you all, the St. Lucie Public Schools. The leadership of Superintendent Dr. John Prince has been catalytic. Dr. Prince, you've not only welcomed collaboration, you've championed it. And more importantly, we are grateful to each of you as members of the St. Lucie School Board for giving Dr. Prince the trust and support to fully engage with us as the EDC and TC Seed. That kind of alignment doesn't just happen. It's intentional and it's powerful. So thank you very much. The Classrooms to Careers is a shining example of what happens when vision meets action. From the addition of career coaches for graduating seniors to the upcoming career fair to the first ever 8th grade experience, we're seeing momentum turn into movement. And with partners like the Boys and Girls Club and the Children's Services Council, we're expanding paid internships that give students real-world experience and a real-world confidence. This isn't just about workforce readiness. It's about dignity. It's about showing our students that their community believes in them, invests in them, and is ready to walk beside them as they step into their future. So tonight, let's celebrate what we've built, in addition to being an A-rated, and commit to what's ahead. Let's raise the standard, stretch our imagination, and continue shaping a future where every student is prepared, not just for a job, but for a life of purpose, contribution, and confidence. What we're doing together, the EDC, the TCC, and the St. Lucie Public Schools isn't just shaping a workforce, it's shaping a generation. And so I'd like to close with a quote from Malcolm X, and that captures the urgency and beauty of our collaborative work, and that is, education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. So let's keep preparing, believing, and building a future worthy of every student of our St. Lucie County, Can-Do County. So thank you. And with that, I'd love to introduce Anita Fisher, our amazing champion of our TCC Pink Rocket Ship to infinity and beyond.
Good evening. Thank you for having us out tonight. We're so excited to be here and continue to work with you and collaborate with the Classrooms to Careers and everything that we've been able to do. I have to follow Aslina, which is very rough. Pete did that on purpose. But I do want to say that being able to collaborate with St. Lucie Public Schools and the brand new TC Seed Foundation has been nothing short but a phenomenal, literally. We're just super excited for all the work that we've been able to do. So when I came in 1.5 years ago, it was a brand new position, and we started off 2 months later with the first career fairs in collaboration. This year we had 2 more career fairs, and we kicked off a brand new internship program this summer. Over 50 students, high school students, 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, were able to start real-world life experience positions this summer. From admin, finance, IT, social media, marketing, they are doing it all. And they're actually gonna come out of this thing in the next 6 weeks with real jobs. We're very excited about that partnership, not only with St. Lucie Public Schools, with Boys and Girls Clubs as well. And we've already got companies standing by ready to sign up for next year, so we know we're gonna double those efforts. We're also kicking off the brand new 8th grade experience this year, more information to come about that. And we've done our counselor tours, which are absolutely phenomenal, and we're all ready to start that in the fall of this next year. So we're just very excited about our collaboration and our partnerships and what it's gonna be doing for our students that are having amazing opportunities that they would have never had in the past. So thank you for your partnership and thank you for your collaboration.
No, thank you. Thank you, Anita. So, board members, I'll talk a little bit more about this whenever I propose the goals under my section tonight. I just want to thank the partnership with the Economic Development Council, but not just that, just the business community in general. That is our most important partnership, other than with our children's families, is to make sure that our kids are career ready, workforce ready to enter the workforce. If they're not going to go into post-secondary and college, then they've got to go out and get high-paying jobs right here in St. Lucie County. And that's what our goal is, and that's the purpose of Classrooms to Careers, is not just make this a high school focus, but create opportunities for exposure in elementary school, and then exploration in middle school, and then high school is the experience, which is the internships that she talked about. I'd like the executive members of the executive board are here tonight, so could you please stand real quick? Come on, Robert Barfield, Andy Treadwell, thank you, Pete Tesh, thank you, Wes McCurry. as Lena Goldstein and Rachel Savella back there. So thank you. And one of the things that I did as superintendent was really express my commitment to partnering with the business community, and we have to meet our local needs. So that's been a huge initiative, and this is taking it, this is the first step to taking it to the next level. So I appreciate the support of them, and thank you for the kind words. So with that being said, that concludes that part of the program. Dr. Mills?
Okay, would we like to take a photo op with EDC right quick?
Why not?
Yes, let's do it.
That's okay. No.
Again, we thank you, Pete, and the Economic Development Council for your partnership. We appreciate that. I did not want to steal Dr. Prince thunder tonight with that A rating. So he's gonna talk a lot more about that later during his report, but we are definitely excited about that. We have made history, St. Lucie County. We've made history. It's the first time in the history of St. Lucie County that we've made an A state grade. So you're really just excited about that. At this time, we're going to ask our EASL report. Mr. David Freeman, please come to the podium and welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Superintendent Prince. I'm sure you're not going to get tired of hearing this, but, well, I'm not quite sure how to say this because I'm part of this and so are our members, but congratulations, I guess, to us for finally getting there. We're an A school. Came with a lot of work, a lot of hair pulling, a lot of stress, a lot of learning, a lot of everything, but we're there. And this is usually the part of the program where I would say something like, well, let's talk about money. You know, our average salary is below that of the other A-rated school districts in the state. I'm not going to go there very much because I know that this could be an interesting year with what's going on at the federal government level and the cuts and freezes and everything that's already been announced. I know that our governor has talked about record school funding, but most of that's going to charter and private schools, not traditional public schools. And we'll sort out the money like we always do when we sit down to negotiate. Whatever's there, I'm sure we will work on and we'll get it to our members and your employees. So I want to talk a little bit about the other things that we can do now that we're successful to make this a better place to come to work. And we'll hash some of this out, but things like allowing teachers to teach more freely and to exercise their expertise with less micromanagement and potentially more protected planning time. I'm going to talk about this a little later, but I actually had the pleasure of being at the Summer Summit, and it was pretty amazing. But I'm sure that they did not plan those lessons in 45 minutes, which is what we're asking our teachers to do every day. So anything we can do that's not money related to make this a better place to come and work. It's already a good place, but anything we can do to make it better. Again, I don't want to minimize where we are. We're in a good place. But we can always be a little better. So those are the things that I'll be focusing on as we start the new year. Now I want to talk about something else. We recently had one of our union officers non-reappointed out of transportation. It's concerning because this year there was additional union activity out of transportation. There was an issue. I'm sure it made management uncomfortable out there. I will say we worked it out like we always do through the collaborative process. It worked out, seemed like things were fine. This union officer, well, his name's Corey Moses. I'll call him Corey, not this union officer. Corey was actually instrumental in that. He was very active in this protected union work throughout the year. Then he was non-reappointed on the last day when non-reappointments can happen. He's been in the district since 2012. He didn't have continuing status because he moved to a new job. And this was the year where he would have earned that continuing status. My concern here is that the potential, or the way it looks for retaliation for protected union activity. There was discussion, I had plenty of discussion with the school district about, I guess you'd call it an ongoing concern. However, there was no, since 2012, there's been no progressive discipline issue. There was none this year. There was no performance improvement plan. Nothing that would address this concern. And yet he was non-reappointed at the end of the year. So the question that I ask and that a hearing officer would ask is, well, why this year then? Right? Saying it's been a continuous thing doesn't really bolster the district's case, because why this particular year? Why not last year or the year before? And so there's always this concern when there's retaliation really for any of our members for union activity. And we've had a case before in this, we've had a couple, but this was the most recent one. His name was Ronald Murdoch. He was actually released during his probationary period, which is when our members have even fewer protections than they do under an annual contract. He was very active in protected union activity, and without getting into the details, unless you really want them, we won that case. He had to be reinstated with back pay. The fact is, even though the district has broad discretion in non-reappointing people, they can't use that discretion to cover up retaliation for union activity. And so this is very concerning. The union offered a number of solutions that really would have protected both the union and the district's interest in this. And I was very disappointed when the district didn't take us up on that, because this is something they usually would have said, okay, let's try this. At least I feel they would have. I don't want to speak for the district, but in the past, these are the kinds of solutions that we come up with collaboratively to address these things. And I feel, or it appears, that the district is intent on forcing this into an unfair labor practice suit, which hopefully you know is not something that we like to do or we do lightly, but we need to protect our members when they're involved in union activities. Okay, so that, hopefully we'll have more discussion about that. Hopefully we can get to a resolution that doesn't require an unfair labor practice. We usually do. So I invite more discussion with the board, with leadership, with whoever it takes to resolve this. And so I want to end on a more positive note. I actually had the pleasure of attending the Summer Summit this year as a participant. I need to get my points to recertify. I wanted to try something different. And I'm going to say, and this is actually positive, as expected, it went very, very well. It was exciting. I enjoyed the sessions that I was in. And so I just want to say that the talent development crew always does a great job with these things. And so I'm really looking forward to when we do the new teacher symposium together, as we do with them. It's going to be very exciting. That one I don't get to participate in because I'm not a new teacher anymore, but it's still exciting when we get to do those things with the district and our district counterparts. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
congratulations
Freeman.
to us again on the A finally.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. The CWA, Ms. Martha Vickers? No report, okay. We're going to move right along to our consent agenda then. The adoption of the consent agenda. We need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Ingersoll.
Second.
Second, Ms. Hawley. Superintendent, may we have your recommendation for approval of the consent?
I recommend the board approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Superintendent has recommended the board approve the consent agenda as submitted. At this time, are there any items that we need to move for discussion? No items, seeing that there's none. All in favor?
We need to take a motion.
We did do the motion in a second.
That was for, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we did the motion in a second. Am I following procedure? Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries 5-0. Informational reports for charter schools' monthly financial reports for May 2025. Just so that our audience would have an understanding of this, charter school financial statements are presented to the board for information only. There is no need for approval or voting for charter schools' financial statement as required. So board members, you have all of the financial statements for each charter school for the month of May in your agenda packet. We're going to go down to the superintendent now and staff reports on selected topics.
All right, first of all, board members, I'd like to orient you to our year in review. This is the publication we do that kind of expresses the highlights of the year. You'll notice it says a year in review, the play on a, okay, anyway. You got to have a little fun with it. All right. I also wanted to, before I call Dr. Ocampo up to kind of go through a little bit of our outcomes at a public meeting, I just wanted to throw out a couple of reminders. July 15th, board members, is summer graduation. That's 8 a.m. at Fort Pierce Central High School. And that's kind of our last opportunity for our students to finish up as they're feverishly finishing in order to graduate prior to the start of next year. Our leadership kickoff is going to be at Legacy High School. We're very excited for Mr. Smith opening that school on time, on budget, and that, no pressure, Mr. O'Leary, he's already sweating over there. But we're in great shape, and I would invite the board members to come to my session, and that will be starting at 8 a.m. And then our welcome back kickoff, that's going to be broadcast to all 5,300 of our employees. That will also be at Legacy High, and we will have a raucous crowd there of a number of schools that are going to be represented with the success of the district. I'd also like to add and congratulate, there are some new appointments that I wanted to point out, and these are promotions to some fantastic future leaders of St. Lucie Public Schools. And I'm going to go first. The new assistant principal at Oak Hammock is Courtney Ballantyne. Courtney, could you stand, please? Now, you know, with every appointment comes the wind beneath your wings. If you have family, could you ask them to stand? All right. Family will try to get her home on time, sometimes. Thank you and congratulations. Next is Letitia Muller-Mustafa is promoted to the assistant principal at C.A. Moore. Congratulations. Do you have any family? Have them stand. All right, congratulations. And Natasha Nicholas is the new assistant principal at Treasure Coast High. Natasha, do you have any family present this evening? Please stand. Awesome. Congratulations. Melissa Phillips Hill is the new AP at St. Lucie West Centennial. Melissa, do you have any family tonight? All right, congratulations. You've got it's a family reunion. All right, congratulations. And then Dr. Shunte Thomas will be promoted to assistant principal at Dale Cassens. Congratulations. Any family before we move on? We good? Family? Okay, all right, double checking. All right, we do have a couple of folks who could not be here tonight. Mandy Brown is the new assistant principal at Weatherby, and congratulations to Mandy. And then, congratulations. And then Liz Marie Rivera is the new AP at Bayshore, so congratulations to her. And at this time, I would ask Dr. Ocampo to come up to give our overview of our outcomes that have now been officially confirmed by the Department of Education as of Monday at 1 p.m. Dr. Ocampo.
All right. Good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, and Superintendent Prince. So this afternoon's presentation will focus on the superintendent's performance on goals for the 24-25 school year. It's a review of the content that Dr. Prince shared at the June 24th board workshop. So the 4 goals are: Goal 1, voter approval for renewal of the half-penny surtax. Goal 2, continue improvement in reading and math across all grade levels. Goal 3, increase acceleration opportunities for all students. And Goal 4, board approval and implementation of Phase 1 of Boundary Initiative with the opening of Legacy High in August of 2025. So Goal 1, on November 5th, the voters of St. Lucie County demonstrated the strong support for our educational initiative by approving the renewal of the half-penny surtax with a 67% approval. This crucial funding is a testament to the community's commitment to the success and future of our students. So let's go ahead and put a check next to Goal 1. Goal 4, skipping ahead to Goal 4. So this goal was approved on October 22nd by the board, and Legacy High School is set to open in less than a month, just a few weeks. So we're going to go ahead and put a check by Goal 4. So Goal 3 focuses on student acceleration. So here we see the increase in acceleration enrollment across grade groups over the past 10 years, from 2014-15 to 24-25. The single line on top shows a student population increase of 22% over that time. However, if you look at the stacked bar graphs, the 3 stacked bar graphs, we can see that it shows an increase of 235% for acceleration opportunities for our students over that same 10-year trend. So we're going to go ahead and put a check by Goal 3. So Goal 2, continuing improvement in reading and math across all grade levels. We're going to start by looking at St. Lucie Public Schools versus Florida in our reading performance across the grade levels. So this visual here presents a comparison of performance for grades 3 through 10 in reading from FY24 and FY25. The table shows the percentage of proficient students for both years. The blue check marks indicate an increase and an outpacing of the state. The yellow checks show a year-to-year increase when the state slightly outperforms us, and a red X indicates a decrease year-to-year and an outperformance by the state. There is an increase across most grade levels with only one slight decrease of 2% in grade 5. So this slide highlights a comparison of gains between us and the state over the last 2 years. You can see that in 2024, we had a modest difference between our improvement and the state by 3 percentage points. However, in 2025, this improvement was significant, with an improvement at a plus 43, our improvement of a plus 43, with the state's improvement of a plus 30. So the following set of slides will highlight math in St. Lucie Public Schools versus Florida. So like we saw on the previous reading slide, this is the same visual representation for math. We see that we increased significantly compared to the state in 4 grade levels. So now this slide presents the same information on a side-by-side comparison across the 2 academic years. The data indicates that we improved in 2024 compared to the state average. However, once again, it's noteworthy that the increase in 2025 was more substantial. with the state showing a growth of 17 points, and we are achieving a 35-point gain. So this next slide compares the proficiency of students in algebra and geometry. The data shows an increase in proficiency in both subjects, where algebra saw a 5% increase. Geometry experienced a 7% increase. However, the state only had a nominal change during the same time period. So additionally, the slide does note at the bottom right that the students taking algebra and geometry, most of them are level 1 or level 2 high school students. So this slide presents a comparative analysis of our performance in algebra and geometry relative to Florida. The side-by-side yearly comparison demonstrates that we achieved notable improvements in both subjects when compared to the statewide results. We improved by 12 points, and the state stayed the same, did not improve during the same time period. So we're going to go ahead and put a check by goal 2. However, we're not finished just yet. We're going to also talk a little bit about the growth across all of the tested subjects. So we're going to start with science. And this slide, we present a comparison of performance data for us and Florida in 5th and 8th grade science and biology across the 2 years. Again, we showed an increase and outpaced the state in bio and science. However, 5th grade science showed a 1% loss in proficiency. So we're going to review social studies and the comparison for us versus state. So this shows an increase and outpaced the state in both civics and U.S. history. So we're going to combine all the subject areas presented in one view. The green boxes at the bottom show our overall increases compared to the state in reading, in math, in science, and lastly, in social studies. So using that information for a scorecard view, we see that we outpace the state in percentage gains in all accountable areas by 120 points compared at the bottom to 76 by the state of Florida. So we can compare the overall growth to how we did last year. Although we outpaced the state in growth in 2024 by 16 points, the totals were much more significant in 2025 with a difference of 44 points, a 44-point gain on the state performance in all tested area. That's the difference between the 120 and the 76 on the right-hand side. So we're going to look at our district grade cells for our core academics now. So for the second year, grade 3 reading is on its own cell. So we are showing an increase of 4 points from last year. Our overall reading increased by 6 points. Our overall math increased by 7. Overall science, a +3. And social studies, a +5. Within the core subject district grade cells, let's review our recent growth. When looking at our increase in proficiency from 2023 to 2024 and our increases from 24 to 2025, our total increases in reading are 10%, 12% in math, 8% in science, and a +8% in social studies. So we're also going to continue to make headway in middle school acceleration, CCA, and the graduation rate, which are all part of the state accountability system. From left to right, we see a 3-point increase in middle school acceleration. Let me go back. A 4-point increase in college and career acceleration, and a 2-point increase in our graduation rate, which was a 94 for the class of 2024. So when reviewing the count of school grades over time, so we're switching over to looking at school grades. So on the top, in the gold box, we see that we have for 2025, 11 A-rated schools, 18 B-rated schools, and 8 C-rated schools with no D or F schools. On the bottom, we have our charter schools also showing that there are no D and F schools in St. Lucie Public Schools. And of course, the last slide in this set has to do with our district grade of an A. So the district needed 65% of points to earn an A rating. That equates to 760 total points for the district. However, we scored 777, lucky sevens, to score that A rating. So congratulations.
So thank you, Dr. Ocampo. And I'm going to ask, we do have principals. We had a meeting earlier today at 4 o'clock to go over something. Principals, could you please stand real quick? Congratulations. So there's a couple of things, and thank you. There's a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, everybody's involved with helping children succeed. And when we say all children are capable of success, no exceptions, that is our mantra, and we have to believe that. We have to believe that in all of our school centers. We have to believe that in the classrooms. We have to believe that in the buses. We have to believe that in the food service line. And we have employees and folks across our district that love children, that want to take care of children, that want to make sure kids get on buses safely, get home safely, that they're fed, that they're cared for, that they've got somebody to talk to when they need something, that there's somebody there for them in a time of need. And that doesn't have to be a teacher. It could be anybody, any adult on that campus. But I will say, the only folks that raise student achievement are teachers. And teachers are so important to the lifeblood of any district that you have to be able to attract and retain quality teachers in order to move student achievement. So I can't tell you everybody plays a part, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not in the classroom teaching. And I thought to myself, when was the last time I was in a classroom teaching? I'm not going to say that because it would date me, seriously. But I can remember being a teacher like it was yesterday. And I can remember back then how challenging it was before all of the distractions that children have now that take their attention away from even the best instruction. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate everybody that has a place at the table when it comes to raising our kids. And not just raising our kids, playing a part and developing them so that they can be the best that they can be. Because ultimately, St. Lucie Public Schools is about trying to make sure kids achieve their dreams. And what that dream looks like is different for every child. And we want to make sure that we provide those opportunities. I can't tell you how proud I am of our outcomes. I just wanted to share, there's 12 cells in the state accountability system. You know, reading, math, science, social studies, and then you have learning gains, and gains in the lowest 25, and then you've got other cells. But we're in the top 10 board members for middle school acceleration. That are students that are passing a high school exam, not just taking a class, but passing a high school exam. And those children that pass that high school exam, guess what they're taking in high school? College courses. College courses. And I also want to add that our high school acceleration, we're in the top 15. We're ranked 13th out of 67 districts. But we're number 8 in graduation. We're number 9 in learning gains of the lowest performing students in reading. We're number 10 in the learning gains of the lowest performing students in math. What does that mean? That we're taking kids that are not performing and we're building them up. We're getting them where they need to be. So almost half the accountability system, we're actually in the top 15 or 20. High school acceleration, I said we're 13th. Learning gains in reading, 17th. We are performing, we're a top performing district. That A behind us was earned. And it's earned because everybody plays a part. It's also earned because of the leadership of the people up on this dais. They play a more important part than you think, because they have to set the tone, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate working with the board, that each of them comes at life from a different experience, but they all care about kids. Everything is child-centered. What is best for kids? And that's what the organization has to be about. So with that being said, I want to say thank you. 80% of our public schools are either A or B rated. 10 years ago when I arrived as a deputy superintendent, 36% of our schools were either a D or an F. I mean, that's how far we have come is just unbelievable. I'd also like to thank my executive cabinet. Can you guys please stand? Come on, come on, come on, come on. So, talk about the dream team. Remember when they had Jordan, Clyde Drexler, and back in the day, Larry Bird, all these great players. I have a dream team. They're truly, truly instrumental in the success of the district. We've created some game-changing strategies and tools that have really helped our principals make day-by-day decisions that impact the lives of kids. And I also wanted to say, at the last board workshop, we made some predictions. And by the way, whenever I make a prediction, I'm kind of putting myself out there. I said we're going to earn an A, and basically almost the same information that we just shared with you was what we predicted. In fact, our district staff did not get a school prediction wrong. We were right on every single school grade prediction, and actually we were only off on our district grade prediction by 2 points because we knew that the what are called alternative assessments were not calculated into that whenever I shared that with you. But to be able to make these spot-on predictions, that team is helping support our schools. When I talk about district staff, schools are not here to serve the district. We are here to serve you. And we want to make sure that you get first-class service. And there is always an operation from a sense of urgency. You cannot hesitate when it comes to helping a child. We're not putting that off. So I think that the results of that hard work this year have been demonstrated by our district grade. But we also know that in every single one of your schools, whether it's an A, B, or C, great things are happening in that school. There's great love and care that's happening in that school, and I would send any of my children to any school here in St. Lucie Public Schools like I've done with my children since I moved here 10 years ago. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to pivot now to goals. Oh, wait, go back. By the way, that's our new logo. What do you think? Yeah. I just wanted to let the board know that starting next week, all of our vehicles, all of our trucks, all of our branding, all the vehicles that St. Lucie Public Schools operate will have that logo on it as the new logo of St. Lucie Public Schools. It looks a lot better with an A there. I don't know how we'd navigate if we had to switch it to a B, but I like the look of the A, so I just wanted to share that with you. And keep going because the goals are submitted to the board. There are 4. These goals are based on conversations I've had with board members and discussions we've had privately and publicly. And the first is with regards to the core instruction. Our board members are prioritizing reading, math, science, and social studies, improving proficiency, but also it's been loud and clear that we need to also have a focus on early literacy and the foundational reading that needs to occur, and we're going to be ramping up that. It's going to be on steroids this year. Goal 2 is what the EDC, thank you once again, Aslina, as the chair of the EDC, and we had other members of the EDC here too. This is Classrooms to Career, and we're phasing that implementation where we're adding an 8th grade experience and also adding elementary components to that, and also some educational leadership education for students. Goal 3 is really, and this is going to be on, I know I went to a town hall meeting a few weeks ago. I was joined by a few board members, and thank you board members for attending that. But on July 29th, we're going to be talking about, how do we reinvest and reimagine schools? We're being very aggressive with our construction schedule in our newer areas, but how are we taking care of our older communities, and how are we reinvesting in all of our communities with regards to St. Lucie Public Schools, because all children deserve a first-class education. And I wish I could rebuild every school, but it doesn't work that way. It costs a lot of money. So we're going to be making a proposal to the board to get some direction, and we've got some ideas, and I would hope the community would come out. It's on July 29th, and that's going to start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is a board workshop. Lastly, is enhancing mental health supports for students. And not just that, it's also enhancing mental health supports for our staff members. These are very stressful jobs that our folks have. Caring and dealing with our children is not just a full-time job, it's a stressful job. And we're not just dealing with the challenges of the children, but the challenges and the stress of the job. And we want to make sure that we're messaging better how our own staff members can take care of their mental health, and also enhancing opportunities to enhance the mental health of our children. So those are the 4 proposed goals that I would seek to get approved this evening so that we can move forward. And that concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that report, Superintendent Prince. Attorney's report, and we don't have Attorney Cole here, but we have a replacement, Kaylee Tuck, Attorney Tuck. Do you have a report this evening?
Nothing to report, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, we do have some action items that's up for voting, and so we will do that before we start our school board members' reports. The first action item is the selection of the FSBA Advocacy Committee representative and alternate. And right now, I would like to have a motion and a second just to start the discussion. A motion and a second, please, somewhere?
I'll make a motion. I think Mrs. Hawley's been doing it. And I just ask her to continue to do it. I'm just not sure who the alternate is.
Right.
I
you
thought
were
it
the-
was me, yeah.
you
I
were the
figured it was
alternate.
me.
Are you
Yep.
both willing
the
to
alternate.
serve? Yes?
Does anyone else want to do it? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I'll second the motion that Ms. Hawley serve and Mr. Ingersoll serve as the alternate.
Miss Hawley just better make all the meetings. That's all I gotta say.
And she just, yeah. And she's done the job so well that you didn't know you were the alternate.
That's how good she
That's
is.
how good she
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yes, yeah.
So we're glad the
So-
both of you have
wanna go out of
agreed
town.
to continue this. And I want to say, this is no easy task because you have to attend several meetings throughout the year. For our audience out there, just so you have a little bit more understanding about this, the Florida School Board Association, which we call FSBA, they have a committee leadership terms that go from July 1st to June 30th, with the new chair appointments taking office on July 1st. The FSBA is requesting that each board in their district select an advocacy committee representative and an advocacy committee alternate no later than August the 1st, and that's why we're bringing this before you today. This item must be placed on the board agenda for approval, and that's what we have done this evening. And the responsibilities include representing your district in statewide advocacy, engaging in policymakers and education stakeholders, attending monthly meetings, and leading local advocacy and reporting efforts. And Ms. Hawley has done a fine job, and we're thankful that she is willing to do that. So at this time, we want to have, well, we did the discussion. We're going to have a vote now on accepting our advocate, Debbie Hawley, and our alternate, Troy Ingersoll, to represent this board this year. May I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry 5-0. We also have our other, we want to also deal with our goals at this time that the superintendent put before us. Can I have a motion, please?
Second?
So move to approve, second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We approve this, with the goals for 2025-26 as submitted, Superintendent. Motion carries 5-0. All right, and then we have one more action item today, and that is the superintendent's overall performance here in St. Lucie County. We will have a motion and a second as to the superintendent's satisfactory or unsatisfactory overall performance. I open up the discussion at this time, but I will say this, that in the past years, we basically have said each board member either given him a satisfactory or unsatisfactory. Of course, you can expand on whatever you choose to do this evening as well. So I'm just going to I'm going to go through each board member and ask you to give us satisfactory or unsatisfactory, and we'll start with Mr. Ingersoll.
Yes, ma'am. Per his contract, it is only satisfactory and unsatisfactory, so that's the only reason why we do that, because the superintendent has definitely earned a satisfactory mark. And also per contract too, we're also supposed to meet with the superintendent prior to this meeting, and hopefully we all have, and we all have had our conversations with the superintendent. I met with him a month ago before I left out of town, and told him I appreciate him, I appreciate his leadership, the way that he handles issues, the way he handles our community, able to get out in front of issues, and we've been very fortunate to have Dr. Prince as our superintendent and his leadership to continue to grow our community. And obviously, we're an A-rated school district, so thank you, Dr. Prince. That's my vote.
Mr. Ingersoll has given a satisfactory. Ms. Hawley?
I'm going to use a term that the superintendent used earlier. I absolutely agree with satisfactory, but satisfactory on steroids.
Yes, we see Ms. Hawley is given a satisfactory. Ms. Harrison?
I appreciate, as the newest member, I appreciate the special attention he's given me to onboard me to this board, so I appreciate that very much, and I too give him a satisfactory.
Harrison, satisfactory. Ms. Richardson?
Satisfactory. Well done. Congratulations, Superintendent, on our very first day. Thank you.
Ms. Richardson has given a satisfactory. And now Dr. Mills. Let me think about it. Satisfactory all the way. Okay, so at this time, the superintendent has received satisfactory from all board members. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second?
Okay, motion to approve the superintendent's satisfactory. Ms. Hawley, second by Ms. Harrison. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Superintendent, the motion carries 5-0. You've done a wonderful job. Got a job for one more year. And we have truly been blessed to have you as superintendent of St. Lucie County Public Schools, because you talked about all the wonderful things everyone else has done, but we know that it takes a great leader to manifest everything else, so we appreciate you, Dr. Prince. All right, at this time, board members, can we have a report? We will start with Ms. Richardson.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say that, I do write what I'm going to say because I will go off on a rabbit trail. So just to keep me on task, I write this down. But first of all, I wanted to say, I realized today, honestly, that this is our first A ever. So this is really something to celebrate, And I have been celebrating today with everybody, just celebrating the first A ever. So, sometimes you have to think about it, let it just assimilate, what this actually means for St. Lucie County School District. Yesterday at 1 p.m. was a pivotal moment for our district. The Department of Education released the school grade information, and there it was in black and white. Our district earned an A. The superintendent was on cloud nine, and I was here when he got the results. I had just come in when he got the result. I don't think he knew what to do with himself. He was expecting it, I'm sure we were, but until it's confirmed and in black and white, you can see it, it's just a pie in the sky. When you can see it, then reality sets in. And he and his team were together, and they were just like, I can't even imagine the thoughts that were going around in their heads, just trying to come to grasp with the fact that we are an A district, and he always talk about a destination district, so now he can taste it, So congratulations. My heartfelt congratulations goes out to every educator, staff member, and support professional who makes a difference in our students' lives daily. You are the backbone of our success. Sometimes I'm here, and when a superintendent goes and he speaks, it's like he was there when I was writing these things, because I'm just kind of mimicking or echoing the things that he says sometimes. But believe me, it's here on paper. I extend my appreciation to our district leadership, including cabinet members, executive team, and directors. To our dedicated parents who stand behind our mission, and to our remarkable students who turned this vision into reality. This triumph belongs to all of you. There is so much to report, so I will share on some highlights. This is the board members' report. And, throughout my journeys in the county, I meet people. There are so many things that I could report on. Tonight, I'm just going to stick to some of the highlights. I must begin by praising the incredible team behind the Port St. Lucie High School production of Matilda. Anybody who went and saw it? I'm telling you, you were blessed, because I know I was. This Broadway caliber performance was outstanding. While time does not permit me to recognize everyone involved, I want to especially acknowledge Director Patrick Madden Jr. and Mila Jovicic, am I saying her name correctly? Anyway, Jovicic and Adeline Brickley. Now, these were our Matildas. They were the talented actresses that played the part Matilda. And I just spoke to Principal Talise today. They are 10 and 8 years old. Amazing. These were babies, elementary school. I was very impressed with these two young actresses because they had so much to remember, as well as the choreography and musical numbers. They were true professionals. To the amazing cast and all who made the show a success, thank you. Thank you. If you looked at the playbill, it was pages and pages and pages of people that contributed to this program. It was not just 2 or 3 people, it was pages. So to everybody who had a part in this, I say thank you. Thank you to the parents who sacrificed to make this one of the best performances. During my recent visit to Morningside Elementary, Executive Secretary Shauna Gordinier gave me a tour of the campus. I was struck by how clean the campus was. The reason became clear when I discovered Mr. Paul Miller, the school's maintenance foreman, diligently pressure washing the building's exterior despite the heat. How many of us know how hot it is outside? And he was pressure washing. It must have been 2 o'clock in the day, The sun was directly on him, but he didn't consider it robbery. He was pressure washing the exterior of the building. This exemplifies the commitment of our maintenance team, who worked tirelessly through summer's deep, though this is a summer deep cleaning period, ensuring our campuses are clean and ready for the new school year, regardless of the challenges that the weather poses. I want to publicly recognize and say thank you to Heather Rowland, our Executive Director of Student Services, and she's here today. We have been spending a lot of time together, Mrs. Rowland, recently discussing, among other things, mental health. Her passionate dedication to supporting students, parents, and staff throughout the St. Lucie Public School District deserves my special recognition. Mrs. Rowland, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. Thank you. Can we just give her a hand, please? Thank you, Mrs. Rowland. We have, in closing, I want to recognize Dan McCarty Middle School and its fearless leader, Principal Stubbs. Under her exceptional leadership, Dan McCarty has achieved something truly remarkable. In the 6th grade corridor at Dan McCarty, you could see signs posted with the number 510. What does this number mean? It represented their goal. 510 was the score they needed to earn a B grade. What was the end score? Do you know how many points they got? I'll tell you. 510. Dan McCarty now has gained a grade B letter grade for their schools. Dan McCarty, exactly. She asked for 510, she got 510. For reference, the last time Dan McCarty earned a B grade was in 2006, 18 years ago. This achievement represents a monumental turnaround. I want to thank the entire staff, the village that dared to believe. They spoke words of life, motivation, and empowerment into their students. And these students rose to the occasion. These students believed they could succeed, and they did. Dan McCarty has had an incredibly successful year. I encourage everybody to check out their website to see the amazing work that's being done there. There is so much hidden talent and intelligence in our children, sometimes just lying dormant. It is our job to motivate, empower, and stir up the giftings within them. The more you say it, the more they hear it, the more they are likely to believe it. As Whitney Houston sang, "I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride." Mrs. Stubbs attributes the school's success to the team she is surrounded by. She says she has the best staff ever, the perfect fit. She acknowledges that there were times when she had to sell her ideas because they seem unconventional. But she asked her team to trust her, and they did. And boy, look at the result, a B. This is a very big deal for this school. Look out, St. Lucie County. Dan McCarty is moving on up. Mrs. Stubbs, to say I'm proud of the school's accomplishment would be an understatement. This achievement will go a long way in continuing to build strong community in the north region of the district. To our community, let's get behind Principal Stubbs and give her our unwavering support. Dan McCarty is preparing each child to be a valuable member of society by providing the social and academic skills needed to succeed. All children are capable of success, no exceptions. Congratulations, St. Lucie County School District, on a well-deserved A grade. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Richardson. Thank you for that wonderful example of Dan McCarty. And it's just one example of all of our schools in this district. Every last one of you have done and accomplished just as Dan McCarty has this year, and we thank each of you. Ms. Harrison, no comment, no remarks, okay. Ms. Holly?
Yes, it's really been an exciting couple of days, but it really came to fruition for me tonight, sitting here and looking out in the audience at all of our principals and APs and district staff, and I wish we could fit everyone in this room that deserves the accolades for getting us to this momentous occasion. But those of you that are in front of us right now, wow. Words really do just kind of fail me in a moment like this. You know, my granddaughter is 6th generation here in St. Lucie County, and she's going to get to say, I'm in an A school district. No other member of my family has been able to say that. And as you can tell, she is absolutely the light of my life, so I equate everything with her. But what an accomplishment. And Dr. Mills, you have grandchildren that were part of this momentum and getting us to this A as well. But there really aren't words to describe to you all how proud I am of you, what your teams have done, whether they're in the school facilities, whether they're out building new schools, taking care of our schools. All of you, please accept my undying gratitude and thank you from all 6 generations of the Johnson-Hawley clan. Thank you.
Mr. Ingersoll, thank you, Ms. Hawley, for those comments.
Yes, ma'am. Your dedication is proven just even being here today. Just of those watching on TV, our principals have already been working 12 hours today, almost, and appreciate you being here. I know it's not celebratory until you get to be with your teachers and your staff. Enjoy those moments and celebrate with them, and we thank you from everybody that's been a part of the school district for almost 18, 20 years we've been here. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ingersoll. We're in A. We're in A district. We're in A. We have made history. And I want to take time out to thank this board because I've been on the board now for 15 years. And as I'm going to be really just truthful and down to earth with everybody, as the first black female on this board, it has not been easy. But I have seen this board grow. I have seen this board be determined to work together. And I hear from the FSBA, Florida State Association, Board Association, I hear this is very rare, that we're an example to all of the state of Florida, this board, because we have looked past our faults and we have looked to the children, to making sure that our children are educated, to making sure that we move forward as a district. And so I want to thank each of you for the part that you've played in making this happen and all of us joining together to really be focused on every child every day. I, too, Ms. Richardson, have been really spreading the news today about us being an A district. And we're also #1 for career and college readiness. Is that right? I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
#1 in the state.
In the state. No, on the Treasure Coast.
On the Treasure
On the Treasure Coast for career and, right?
I've got a fact check.
Okay,
Don't know off the top of my head.
okay. Anybody know out there? All right.
Go ahead and say yes.
Where did I get my information from?
It sounds
But our children, is showing that our children are getting what they need to graduate 9 consecutive years in a 90 percentile rate. And as it's already been said, when I came in 2010, this district was doing very poorly when it came to graduation rates. And it's so good to know and so comforting to know that my grandchildren, especially black males, you know, it was sad. But now all gaps have been closed and those young men are performing like anyone else. And it goes to show that our children are extremely talented, and we have to have high expectations and make sure that our children are getting what they need. All children are getting what they need. We write no children off anymore. And I'm just really excited about what we are doing in St. Lucie County. And that is what we're after doing here on this board, is always improving on where we're at. We come a long way, as the saying goes. I'm thankful and grateful for the incredible work of our amazing children, our administrators, our educators, our support staff. And what you've accomplished has been just incredible. With all minds clear, we are adjourned.